In past episodes, we discussed the types of relationships. Now we're going to discuss how do you know when a person or if a person is ready for a relationship? Are there signs? And if so, what are the signs? Stay tuned. Enjoy the conversation.
Are you ready for some controversy? Yeah. Are you ready for some fun? Yeah. Yeah. Are you ready for some laughs? Yeah. Let's get unfiltered with Cycle 4081.
Welcome back to another episode of Cycle 4081 for Unlimited Cycle 4081. And we're going to talk about relationships and basically how do you know when anyone, man or woman, is not ready for relationships? Are you going to have the signs? Whatever. So we're going to start off this conversation with readiness versus eligibility, right? So that's going to be the kickoff. So many people say, and I'm pretty sure you've heard them, that they're not ready for the dating pool, especially women say that, or they have very pessimistic views on the dating pool. So the question that we're going to kick off is, what does it mean to be ready for the dating pool? And today we have Roach joining in. We'll have some other ones that will be joining us later. And we have Paulie Love. Welcome to the show. How you guys doing tonight?
Good.
Doing fine, thank you.
So the question is, I'm going to start off with Wirtz because she's a woman. And I've always heard the woman say this. What does it mean to be ready for the dating pool? What does it mean to you?
Ready for the dating pool. Being born.
Being born. So you was
Being
born ready. Everybody who's born is ready for the dating pool.
Not everybody.
Well, everybody's
born.
To
me, that means I was born ready for the dating pool.
Oh, you. Okay.
I had to think about that. Like, ready for the dating pool?
Oh, you know what? Before that, let's talk about
ready.
What is the dating pool. Let's define that so everybody's on the same page. What is the dating pool? In your opinion?
Anybody who says they are available to date and that matches what you're looking for. I mean, well, not necessarily matches because it could be anything out there, but anybody that says they're ready to date.
Group of people who are single and ready to mingle.
A group of people who are single and ready to mingle. Okay.
That's a good one.
Yeah, I would say anybody out there, and basically what he said, anybody out there who is putting themselves in the availability section of the pool. So that means whether they're ready or not, they're out there making themselves available. So, and Paulie Love, what does it mean to be ready for the dating pool?
Ready. R-A-W.
Ready and willing.
Ready. I think I'm ready for the dating pool.
Yeah. Have you heard people say that? Have you heard anybody say that?
That they're ready to date?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, many women, but they weren't ready. But anyway, that's another story. But
what about the men?
I knew it was coming.
Well, that's why I said it. I brought that response on myself. But being ready, I think being ready is saying that you are emotionally acceptable to having a partner or partnering with other people.
Okay. I thought about this. When people say, and like I said, I've only heard this from women, right?
Mm.
Yes,
Yeah.
the dating pool. The dating pool is all those people out there that's making themselves available for dating or relationships or more. So to be ready for it, I think that depends on the individual, whether they think they're emotionally ready, financially ready, or even physically ready. So I think that's what people really think about when they jump into that. But speaking on emotional readiness, when they say that, that's your psychological and your emotional, capacity to handle new situations, challenges, or even, transitions, right? You got to be able to handle that with some type of grace. Now, it ain't about suppressing feelings. I think more or less understanding, regulating, and preparing yourself for what lies ahead, right? That's being emotionally ready. Now, with that said, should emotional readiness matter more than age, looks, or finances when you start jumping into that dating pool? Words.
I think it's the most important thing.
Oh, you think it's the most important thing?
Emotional readiness.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
He lies.
Just for dating?
He's lying. Look, let me tell
We're
you.
not talking about marriage. You're just talking about dating,
Right, for
right?
dating. Yes.
Eh, I don't think. Well, I think emotional readiness is important in general, but just for dating, I think people can go out, date, and have fun, even if
But that's
they are emotionally
but that's
unstable.
but that's where you develop your bad habits. And you know, I understand for the fun and for the sport. I get that. I understand that. But see, that's when you develop them bad habits, and then the dating habits they spill over into serious relationships. It's a bad habit. So I think if you're not, I get it. Physically, financially, I get it. But if you're not emotionally equipped to even handle the whole dating situation, and that's a future disaster waiting to happen.
But what
Well,
if you're not dating for like, if you're not dating to be serious, you're just going out to have fun, have a good time.
okay. I was
I
about to
mean,
say
but
that.
what? Yeah, but what is your definition of fun? Are we just going out to hang out, or are we going out to are we doing a little extra afterwards, or are we what are we doing? I need to know. What are we doing? I need to
I,
know.
So I think when you first start dating, right? The majority. Let's be honest. The majority of people don't just start dating with intent. They go to feel things out, right? So this is why I said emotional readiness doesn't matter more than age, looks, or finances when you jumping into the dating pool, because some people are not looking for that long term whatever. And the first thing you're gonna when you jump into that dating pool, the first thing you're gonna come across are age, looks, and finances, right? Especially women. Women want to make sure, one, that the guy looks decent or acceptable. They're going to look at the age, and we've heard that from past podcast episodes. And they're going to look at whether the person can actually,
They're
keep
gonna
up.
look.
Yeah, support.
They're gonna look at. They're gonna look at the pockets.
Exactly. So they're going to do that for a while, and then once they decide that they're ready to move on to the next step, or make it step it up a little bit, they're going to look at whether that person's ready to do the same thing. So initially, I don't think emotional readiness matters at all, to be honest.
what are the men going to be looking for?
Pussy.
Okay. Okay. Let me apologize to you too. I'm no longer Paulie Love. I'm unfiltered P. Okay.
You're what? Field trip P.
I'm unfiltered P. Now I'm just
Okay.
going. Okay.
Lay it on them.
So what are the men looking for, right? Okay.
Hmm.
So you said that. So you said that if they're in the dating pool to just have fun or fill it out, right? So the man, first of all, he looking. You gotta look good because there's no reason if you don't look good, you don't get past the front door.
You sure about
Let's
that?
let's call it
You sure about? There's a lot.
well,
There's a lot of
well,
ugly women out there
well,
that
I don't
got,
think that's
well,
and men
true.
too.
well,
And
you got
men,
well,
and a lot of
well,
ugly men
Yeah,
who
I said
still
well,
both.
get a
then,
date, and it,
well,
yeah.
well, you take what you can get based on your situation. So that I'm not.
There's
I'm
somebody, there is somebody out there for everybody.
I agree.
what they say. What they say. There's a what they say. There's a lid. There's a lid for every what
Every
for
trash can. But you look at it like, look, and be real, right? It matters, it depends on who you are really. But if men look for looks first, right? And there's a lot of superficial people out there. So if you're looking for looks, that makes a difference. If you're one, we're gonna look at the age because that'll keep you out of jail, right? Um, and then I think, well, most guys, I don't think they care about the finance part, because when you're just dating and they're traditional when it comes to stuff like that, usually the guy pays. Usually, but the emotional readiness, I don't think that even matters until you actually get to that. You get past those, initial things, and decide, you know what? Oh yeah, I'm ready. Are you ready?
white men don't care about age.
Oh well, yeah.
White men can't jump at the same time.
All right, we had Dimitri popped in. Now, let me ask you, Dimitri. Now you're a single
Huh?
guy, right?
Uh huh.
And when you jump into that dating pool, what do you think matters most to you? Emotional readiness, meaning that you're psychologically, emotionally, able to handle a new situation, all the new challenges, the transition from being single to being coupled up and to being exclusive, all those different things, right?
Right.
Does that matter more than what the person looks like or their age or their finances? I want you to think about that though. Before you say, whatever. We don't want to hear the popular answer. We want to hear the real answer.
Before you start lying,
He gonna lie. Go ahead.
No, no, no. I was going to ask you. Do you want me to be honest with this question?
Absolutely. We're unfiltered here.
Okay. Well, I'm unfiltered too. So the looks. I'm sorry, it matters. Um, like people can say, "Oh, it's her personality is attractive," and this that. Nah, you gotta be attracted to somebody some kind of way physically to talk to them. I don't care what nobody say. I'm sorry,
I I,
that's
I
me.
agree. I agree, especially coming
I'm
from a
being honest.
man's point of view.
So so to me now if you're saying like is does that matter the most? I'm gonna say no because once you get to know that person, all the other qualities is more important. But that is a factor.
So we're comparing, emotional readiness versus, the physical, not just the physical, but the age, looks, and finances. So
Yeah,
when
emotional readiness is a big factor. It matters more, you know, than the looks.
see, didn't I tell you? Hold on,
But
hold on, hold on. Let me tell you about this story about somebody who met up with a girl on a blind date and walked into the restaurant, saw what she looked like, and then act like they was a part of the staff and ran out.
Ooh.
Yeah, that's that. Now see, now that's
Did,
a little crazy right there,
did
because
Me, it
did
sounds like
emotional,
that person wasn't emotionally ready
yeah.
to
yeah,
engage
yeah.
in dating.
I think. Well, I would say a lot of emotions probably with that person, because the lead to just run out of the restaurant like rerun. I don't know why what forced them to not even stop and talk to that person.
Emotional, emotional
But
unreadiness.
I'm with you, Tasha, on that one. Like I that's a little
but
that's a little crazy
but
right
see,
there.
that was a perfect example of what mattered more: age, looks, finances. Not so much the finance part, but if you've been talking to somebody for a little bit, let's say online or whatever, and y'all vibing, you go meet the person, and next thing you know, you ghost them, like running like you were Carl Lewis out the restaurant. Then that's proof that emotional readiness doesn't matter. Am I correct?
Well, uh, uh,
Yeah, that's
yeah. Well,
correct.
if she looks like Rasputia, yeah. But my thing about it, I actually have a story about meeting someone and what I had to go through actually to as far as like the emotional readiness, what you're talking about,
Mm-hmm.
because when I met this person, I thought she would be emotional ready, and I was emotional ready. But a lot of times, but at the same time, her looks wasn't ready. So, uh, you know, I
He said her
still
looks
tried
was
to.
red.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute.
I,
So you connected with this woman, and you got with her knowing that you wasn't physically attracted to her.
no, well, I didn't know until I seen it. Like women are very, very, very amazing when it comes to camera views and holding up a camera and video camera and stuff. They know the angles
Men
and stuff they
too.
take.
Men, men are too.
No,
Men
no,
go as
no,
far
no,
as
no, no,
to. Men are very
No,
good at using what do you call it? AI.
AI.
no, Miss Tasha. I would not
women,
say that. No,
Yes.
women are women are
I got,
filter
I got, I
women
got
are
to
filter
disagree with you on
experts.
that. Women are the most. Did you say men are the most experts?
No, he said
No, I said
women.
Men, men
women are
will hide
filter
what they want to
experts.
hide as well.
No.
Both men,
See,
humans in general are going to hide what they don't want
no.
someone to see off the top.
Okay, I got to disagree with you on that because men, as us men, we put it out. We don't care about all of that. You either
Yes,
like
yes,
us.
men
You,
do. You're
you, you
human.
no. Like you either no. I'm saying y'all are more on that than we are because we we walk around with our shirts off. We don't care about that. Like most of the men, you can say 50% of the population of men in the world walk around. They walk around with their shirt off. They don't care if they're fat. They got bird chest. They don't care about none of that because we look at ourselves. We men. That's what That's what we do. Women are more like like the seeing. You see in there where they're attracted to them. They're not like they're insecure as far as
They
like the
they don't
looks
want you
and
to
stuff like
see
that.
no
They,
flaws.
they don't want you to see no
They, they,
flaws. So
they got the fake they got the fake baby
they,
hair. They got the
they
fake
got
baby hair
right.
plastered on their
But the thing
forehead.
about it, what I'm saying is they hide it more because, like, for instance, what I'm saying with the you see on Facebook, this happened to me a lot. Girls that I've seen that I've known in the past, right? On Facebook, I'll see like their profile. They putting pictures up because women love to put pictures up on Facebook or whatever, social media. And they'll take pictures at certain angles. I'm like, oh man, she looked good back in the day. She was big. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, she actually lost some weight, whatever. And then when I see that, I'm like,
They're still big.
you know, like, yeah, you still the same size.
Wait a minute.
And honestly, it's not a problem with that. But the way they try to hide and stuff like that, it's like, it makes it a big problem. It's like,
You know what men do? Men, a lot of times, they just show their faces. They don't show their full bodies.
no,
They or,
no,
and
no.
men wear hats.
No,
No,
she right on
uh,
that one. No, no, no. I'm
Because
a
no.
they don't
I
want
mean, we
women to
wear
see the
hats.
shapes of their heads.
that's true. That is true. That is true. I ain't gonna look.
But
She
but we don't hide our bodies and stuff like that. If we fat, we fat. If we skinny, we skinny. You take it how it is. You like us or you don't.
exactly.
Which explains a big reason why men don't do makeup. Makeup wasn't
I
made
have
for
seen
men
a lot of
because
men
we
using AI. A
see.
lot.
Yeah, nah, that's I don't know.
I don't
I
think that
have
men
seen
when men
a
use
lot of men use
but
AI.
when men use AI, it's not like they're hiding something. It's because they do it for the art part. They want to like
No,
Yeah, yeah.
some men might do it for the art part, but there are some men who use AI cleaning up their stuff, trying to make it look like themselves, and is not.
They just use it for graffiti.
Well, women use makeup eye and
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 then when they
BBL
don't,
eye.
and then they show up how they normally look, the man is running away and leaving them
Okay.
at the restaurant by themselves. So y'all don't know, men don't know what they want. One minute they want natural women. Then the woman come out with a big old natural fro and oh, they got a problem with that. Next minute they don't want a woman with makeup.
Well,
The woman
well,
comes
see,
out and she has dark spots or just hyperpigmentation on her skin. Oh, she got black eyes. Like y'all don't know what y'all want. But then
no,
when you
but we don't.
see
We
these IG models out here, these IG chicks with all the booty and they got the makeup on them, and y'all are thinking, oh, that's something great. You don't even realize that chick
It's
got on a bunch
society's
of
fault.
makeup.
It's
but
society's
he-
fault.
but here's the thing though, Tosh. We would we as men would take a woman for what she is more than a woman would take a guy for what he is.
I don't
Like
believe that. I
like
don't
yeah,
believe
no,
that.
you know what?
like if
I
women were
don't
more
believe that.
honest, if women were more honest, okay,
I don't I
yeah, of
don't I
course.
don't I don't think so either. To be honest, no, I don't really
I don't
think that's
believe
the
that.
case.
I disagree with both of y'all on that.
We're gonna have to do a poll on that one because
Yeah, yeah, because men, we the type. It's the same way we set, look at women to accept ourselves. We don't wear makeup. We don't do all that stuff. But so we want natural. A lot of men, believe it or not, do not like women with makeup on. We want the natural things.
that's true.
So if they just come out and
No,
say, hey,
y'all
like,
want the women
no,
to look natural, but a lot of times you don't even realize that the woman has on makeup and they have it
no,
on. Y'all think
well,
that, oh, she's natural, and you'll be looking right at a woman that have on
no,
lashes, that have on foundation and everything else, and you wouldn't even be able to tell. All you'll think she had on was lipstick,
now I
and
will
she
give
got
you
on a
this.
full face of
I,
makeup.
I will give you this. I seen two girls I used to work with. And when I first met them, they had makeup, and when I would see
What's
them a
their
lot,
name? What's their names?
working with them over the years, they had makeup, right? The first time I seen them without makeup, like I walked into the wall because I like this one girl, I was kind of like, whoa, she need makeup to look regular. And I felt bad at myself for even thinking that, like, holy shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, damn. Maybe some women do need makeup to look like regular. And I hate thinking that. But women wear makeup
What's
so much and don't let
regular? What's
what I'm saying
regular?
is okay, let me say this real quick.
Without flaws,
Women wear makeup so much that some of them need it now to look because we look at them, like you said, sometimes we don't even know they got makeup on. So we so used to seeing that they wear it so much that when some of them that don't wear it, none of it at all, none of the mascara, the lipstick, no nothing. They look like scarecrows, and it's like, whoa, you know what I'm saying? Because you seen them with it on, you thought that was regular. And then when they take it off, you're like, okay, put it back on. But it's like, some women that don't wear makeup that let themselves go natural, they're very beautiful. They're just like, and what I'm trying to say is, us as guys, we want the truth. We like you. we'll like you for who you are if you just half of the time tell the truth and just let it go out there. You know what I mean? Like you don't
No,
have
you
to
don't.
hide and
Okay,
No,
hide.
so
y'all will
so wait a minute. So
not.
basically,
And
what
no,
you're
you
doing,
won't.
I'm
you're
telling
you're
you.
confirming that looks matter more than emotional readiness. But you, by your own words, you're confirming that, right?
I am. I am.
Yeah. Okay.
I
So,
I
all right,
am. I am. But when you once you get into that relationship, you realize
then
you
that's
know
different. That's different.
the
But
there's
in
more.
the
But we're
dating
talking
pool,
about dating.
yeah, that's different.
you also the big girl at the restaurant. She came up in her truth. She showed up in her truth.
And you didn't respect it.
You said
Mm-hmm.
you said you wanted truth. She showed up in her truth. She said, "Take me as I am." But this is me.
Oh, I don't know who y'all talk about me. He's looking into the camera like he's looking at me. Look, I want to meet.
I'm looking right at you.
I want to meet
But
that. I want to meet
she
that guy that left that woman
she said,
in that
"Take me
restaurant.
as
'Cause
I
that,
am." She
What
said,
restaurant
"Take
was that?
me."
it was at Buffalo Wild Wings.
Oh, okay.
How do you know? How do you
Yeah,
know?
how do you know?
Okay. I confess. So basically, what? No, but this is the thing. Let me explain myself real quick.
Okay.
I was it wasn't my fault because I was catfish. My friends were saying, "Hey," they challenged me. They was like, "Hey, you about looks," and I was like, "No, I'm not that dude. I'm not about just looks. I'll date a girl for her personality." They was like, "Nah, you're lying. You're lying." Okay, we know a girl. We gonna set you up. You talk to her on the phone for a couple of weeks or whatever, and then y'all gonna meet up for a date. But you can't ask her for no pictures. She can't ask you for no pictures or anything. So I was like, okay, all right, I'm gonna prove y'all wrong on that. So we've been talking and talking, and she's a nice girl, this and that, whatever, whole 9 yards. And then, so when it was time to meet up, I was supposed to meet up at Buffalo Wild Wings. So I come in and I'm texting her, and she's like, "Are you almost there?" Because I was running late because I live across town. And I was like, yeah. I'm about to pull up and walk right in. She was like, okay. I said, where you at? She's like, once you hit around because it's like a split in the restaurant that you go around like an oval. Once you hit that oval, I'm in the first booth in the left. I said, okay, gotcha. Boom, I'm coming. So as soon as I walked in, I start walking, and I'm the type, man, I get hesitant, I freeze. So I'm walking by, and I'm kind of like, I look over, I stop, and she took up the whole booth. That's how big she was. Like it was like the blob sitting in the booth. So I stopped and I froze. Like, oh shit, why did I stop? In the back of my head, I'm like, fuck, I should have kept going. So I stopped. I look over, and she go, Dimitri, and I looked at it, and I went, oh, has your waitress been to the table yet? She was like, no. I said, let me go get her. My servers are very slow tonight. You got to understand they're real busy. I'm gonna go get them. So I hauled ass around because she can't see me because it's a split in the restaurant to go to the bathroom. So once I hit around that circle, I hauled ass to the point. I ran so fast to the point the hostess was like, "Sir," she thought I was running out on my bill, and I was like, "Get out my way, get out!" Like kind of like pushing our way, and get out the door, and I felt so bad, and I got in my car and I hauled ass to the point halfway home. She sent me a long text saying, "Hey, I understand. What you did was kind of messed up. You could at least sat down and tell me you wasn't interested."
So
And I
we
felt so bad
so
that
we got a
I kind
surprise
of
for
went
you.
off on.
We have a surprise for you. She's gonna be
Don't
joining the
tell me.
podcast in a minute.
That girl ain't talked to me and got that like 20 years, 15
Dimitri,
years or something.
All right, look,
Dimitri,
let me get on to this. All right, so we had this before, right? We all have opinions on whether someone should be dating or shouldn't be dating, and for various reasons. So we're gonna go back and revisit this question that we had from prior episodes, right? And we asked this before: is it fair to say someone shouldn't date, or is dating just part of how people grow?
I think everybody should be allowed to date. Even saying allowed doesn't even sound right. Everybody of age or
yeah,
who are permitted to date should be able to date. if they can afford it.
Okay.
Men.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. You you you
See,
just you just you just nullified your statement because you put an if on there.
see my
If the
finances
men can
into
afford it.
So you're saying it is fair to say someone shouldn't date if they don't have the money.
If they can afford it.
Hey, okay, there you go. So what do you say? Well, I'm
And that doesn't mean that they have to have money to afford it, because a date can, you don't have to spend money on a date per se.
that
I think
that's
it's
But
true.
you
it's
have to have the means. Yeah.
I think everyone should be afforded the right to date, broke and all. I don't care.
I agree because you might find your
I
come
Just
up,
agree.
two broke people can date together.
and they could build on it, and you can grow. Yeah, I agree. I don't, but I will say it is fair to say someone shouldn't date because if they fit into certain categories, if you know you have a short temper and you have unresolved issues, and you basically a lunatic, no, you shouldn't be dating. You need to work on yourself first before you go and ruin somebody else's life. So yeah, it is fair to say someone shouldn't be dating in certain, if they meet certain, criteria. Agree or disagree?
I agree with.
Mm.
I agree with that because
I think
if you have like dad problems where your dad wasn't there, excuse me, and it kind of looked like was a toll on your life, so it made you abusive, and you're an abusive person in general, you shouldn't be dating.
Okay.
So that's a fair statement. Uh,
So
I agree with.
so Word said money. You said uh
I didn't
emotionally.
say money. I said
You said they couldn't
afford
afford
it.
it. Right. So that involves
But
money.
afford doesn't necessarily mean money. That you could be resourceful and afford something.
Well, that's not affording anything. When you say somebody's afford something, that means you have the means to pay for something.
You have the means to provide something.
Okay.
You
So
don't necessarily have to be paying for it.
so it's okay if you're a grifter. Mm. Okay. Okay. All right. So all right, we mentioned a little thing about emotional readiness now, and I mentioned emotional and mental health, right? In so many words. So I mentioned unresolved trauma, and that refers to long. Does anybody who out there who's listening, when I say unresolved trauma, we're talking about the long-term psychological and physical impact of a distressing event that a person's mind and body have not fully processed, right? And we know people like that, and we might be like that too. But instead of healing, the nervous system remains stuck in a state of chronic stress, leading to unpredictable emotional and physical triggers in daily life. Now, I'm certain every one of us out here can, point out somebody that we felt fit this description, right? So, my question is, based on what I said, should someone dealing with unresolved trauma be dating, or should they be healing first?
they should be healing.
They should be
They
Yes.
healing.
don't need to be. They don't need to be allowed back into the dating pool until they're healed.
Allowed?
Allowed.
Yes,
Yes,
shut the
I agree.
gates, block the gates. They should not be given a pass. No, do not go past go. Do not collect $200. Heal yourself. Do not jump back into the dating pool.
I don't agree with that.
You all
Because
right?
then the one apple spoils the whole bushel.
I
So
don't agree with that,
explain why you don't agree with that.
because you're just talking about dating. We're not talking about getting into a relationship. You're talking about dating. I think you have to understand what dating is. Dating doesn't necessarily mean sex. Dating could mean just fundamentally you're going out and you're meeting different people.
Well, let me
You're dating.
let me clarify something real quick. So we was talking about dating when we
Hmm.
was mentioning the dating pool, but this
Hmm.
whole topic of conversation is how do you know when someone's ready or not for a relationship. So the conversation is relationships. So we talked about earlier was about getting in the dating pool, obviously, because you have to get in the dating pool first before you get
Okay.
into a relationship. So does that change your answer?
So repeat the question again for me, please.
So
You remember it?
the question was should someone dealing with unresolved trauma be dating or healing first?
So that's what I'm saying. For dating, I'm not talking about the relationship part. I'm talking about the dating part.
Okay.
I think that, yeah, if someone is not healed from their trauma, because for some people that could take a lifetime, I don't think we should say, oh, you shouldn't be out there dating, going out, having a coffee, going out, having dinner with someone of interest, possibly. You don't even know if they're of interest yet. You're just dating, you're just going out. And you could be going out with multiple people. You're not in a relationship. You're
Okay.
not committed. It's a
I'm talking
difference.
about I'm talking about the relationship aspect now.
But the question was about dating.
Okay, well, I mean, anybody's free to date, but just don't be jumping into no relationship with your bad vibes, your bad juju. Heal
Okay.
yourself.
Okay, so all right, we're clear on the dating part. So now applied it to dating in a relationship because when you're in a relationship, you're also dating, right? So
Uh-huh.
factor that in there.
So you're basically saying, should people take dating to the point of a relationship when they're not healed?
Yes.
I be the choice of the two people involved at looking at moving from dating to going into a relationship.
Okay. So I'm going to say from experience and observation that a person who is dealing with unresolved trauma, right? And we talking about, all the craziness that can happen. We ain't talking about little things. We're talking about, from an abusive relationship or something that happened when they was a child, anything traumatic that's going to affect their relationship. You don't need to be dating with the intent of getting into a serious relationship if you have not healed first, because you're really dooming yourself before you even start. Anybody disagree with that?
I can tell you from experience, and I put myself first. I suffered a traumatic experience, and I had no business being out there dating. So what I started doing, I started engaging in uh, small little dating events. Nothing serious, because I ain't want my stuff to spill over on somebody else.
And
I gotta agree. I gotta agree with y'all. I gotta agree with Paul on this one because, like, you when you date. I give an example with me. I dated this one girl. By the way, my date inventions don't go that far. I dated this one girl for about 2 weeks, right? And I was really into her, like to the point I was like, man, this might be the one, this and that, whatever.
After 2 weeks,
And huh?
after 2 weeks,
I just explained like dating adventures don't go that far, Paul. So you should tell that it's gonna be off balance. Yes, after 2 weeks. So listen, 2 weeks.
2 weeks that make you
I
say
was
this is the
no,
one.
hey, she had me on the ropes, man. I can't explain it. I can't explain. And it wasn't no, it wasn't the sex because you can be like, oh, it was just the sex. No,
I
it was
didn't say nothing about skin to skin contact.
this
I didn't say
this
anything about that.
this girl was like a girl I needed, like a general. So I was falling for her. She had the shit together. She had like everything. Uh, you check off the boxes, all the boxes, and come to find out when her husband came knocking at my door.
her current husband.
So
Wait,
I
wait, wait,
did
wait,
not
wait,
know
wait, wait,
this.
wait. You talking about her current husband?
Her husband that she was living with daily on
Okay.
a
Okay.
family life, the current husband, you know, that he had no idea she was cheating. And he came knocking at my door, and I didn't had no idea what was going on. And me and him talked it out. It was cool, whatever. And because he knew
Y'all
he could
didn't
tell,
tussle?
he could tell by the look on my face that I had no idea what the hell was going on.
He
And
snatched you up.
he
Hold on,
to the
Demetri.
point.
You wait a minute. We had two questions for you.
Yeah, did you tussle?
I ain't answering that question. I don't know who that unknown butt juice is. But I'm saying, I'm telling you right now that it messed me up so bad. I mean, like me and this dude is friends right now. That's
Okay.
how much he knew. That's how much he knew that I didn't know. He looking at me like, bro, you didn't know, did you? I was like, nah, no, I
Y'all,
didn't.
y'all, y'all friends now?
But it messed me up so bad. To answer your to relate what Paul was saying, it messed me up so bad. I jumped into another relationship. I started dating this girl right after that because I was so mad about that I screwed that whole thing up, and I took everything out, my anger out from what I dealt with that girl because it really messed me up bad because I really thought this girl was it, and she did all of that stuff. Then I took it out on the next dating
I, I,
relationship,
I,
and I blew it all up.
I'm
I
confused.
wasn't ready. I
I'm
wasn't ready
confused.
yet.
So the girl that you was in a relationship with
You're
for
not
two
gonna team
weeks?
up with Marky right now. Stop trying
No,
to do
no, no.
that.
I'm
No,
trying
that's a
to get
legitimate.
Stop
no.
trying.
Listen,
No,
Stop it.
that's a
I'm
Stop
legitimate
trying
trying.
to get.
question.
I'm just trying to get clarity. I'm just trying to get clarity. So
All three of y'all trying to get me, huh?
No,
no. Hear me out. So the woman that you got involved with in a relationship after 2 weeks that you thought was the one, uh, then the husband came and said you're not really the one because I'm the one, and
Right.
so then y'all became friends. Y'all became friends. So
Yeah,
what
because he
happened?
knew he
What happened to
felt
the
bad
wife?
for me because
What,
he knew
what happened to the
he
wife?
felt. Wait, say it again.
What happened to the wife?
He divorced her.
All y'all
Not
friends?
because
Oh, oh,
he did. He no.
oh,
Hold on. He didn't divorce her after what happened with me. He divorced her after that because she did something else. So she cheated on him twice.
so going back to what Paul said, and this is a little bit off the track, but to what Paul said, that with all this activity that this woman did, what about her within 2 weeks made you think that she was the one? Give me an idea of what you thought about her. What did she say or do that made you think that she was the one?
Everything. Y'all not gonna understand it. It was everything. Like I've never had a woman like
make us understand, brother. Make
normally,
us
normally,
understand.
normally in the dating go on trying to push towards a relationship. I take care of all. I pay for everything when we go out. I carry the conversations. I'm working the hardest, making a laugh. I'm doing all this stuff, throughout the relationship. I might have had one girl that I didn't have to do all of that with, maybe, but this girl, when I said she checked all the boxes, like she was independent. She
She
had her
didn't
own
check off the
stuff.
single box. She didn't check off the
She was
single
paying.
box.
Look, she was paying for me. She ain't check off the single box. You're right. She was paying for me to eat. She was checking me with my stuff that I was going through at my
So
job
so
and
so Meeks.
emotion. Hold on, let me finish. She was checking through. Y'all asked a question. I'm not trying to answer. So she was going through like everything, my emotions. You know what I was going through. She was
She read
relating
your
to it.
palm. She read your
I didn't
palm.
have
That's what
to.
it
I
was.
didn't. Hold on. I didn't have to keep. I didn't have to go at her all the time. It was like she was more about. She was a lot about me, and I was towards when I was about her, and then not me all about her. You know what I mean? And it was like everything she helped me with finances, certain things with finances. She like
So
everything.
she
Like
basically did things that no other girl did before for you.
no other girl ever did before. And I'm talking about when I say everything, it's a lot of stuff I can't even think of. that I'm not remember that she
Into
did,
it. So me, that's what
and
I'm trying to
and,
understand.
and the sex too. On top of that,
So me, hold on. Let me get this. Let me understand it. So when you got
Well,
out of the
sex is
first relationship, before you got with her, you jumped
mm.
into one just so you could heal yourself. Was it something? Was it not to heal, but did you do it as a distraction so you don't have to think about healing before
Be
you
honest
jumped in
with
a
you.
relationship with her?
Be honest. You talk about the second one, right?
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. After her, the relationship that you say you jumped into and you made a mess of it
Mm.
or whatever, did you jump into it because you were trying to forget and not heal?
I jumped in. I jumped into it because I was so pissed off
So yeah, it seemed
that
like you were trying to forget and
what she did. I was so pissed off because she was like the perfect woman. I was so pissed off that she did that. The perfect woman in my eyes did that to me. Like that messed me up.
yeah,
Like whoa. Like to the point that I
yeah.
was like, you know how
I
you
see a
you
lot of
do
mistakes made there. I get what you're saying, but I see a lot of
but
mistakes made there. Not just by you, but a lot of
but
mistakes.
you know how like you do something, you make something like a nice a toy or something, and then you're like, oh man, this toy is nice. This is the perfect toy. This thing is nice, man. You know this and that, and then you lose it, and you so mad that you lost it. You know it had everything going. That toy had everything going for you that you go out and buy another toy, and then you break it.
yeah,
That's the
yeah.
So yeah,
situation.
that
It,
so
it
that
was
so
kind
that
of like
goes back to what he was saying. You know, you was doing it as a coping mechanism so you can forget the pain that she caused or you caused as
that
well.
she called right.
Right. So okay,
So,
that's understandable. I mean,
so
Yeah,
did
yeah.
so did you and the husband, seek therapy or talk to each other? Not therapy, but talk to each other about the situation afterwards.
We did. We friends now. Me and him are friends
to this day.
To this
because she
day,
cheated on listen
What she
because
did,
she
what was?
yes
But look, you
she
met
cheated
her.
on him. She cheated on him a second time. I just y'all not paying
Hey,
attention to that. She cheated on him a second time, and the second time was actually worse than the first time with me. And he saw my face when he came to my door. He saw my face and he seen how confused I was and like what that he knew. He knew
y'all became
because
roommates.
he seen it.
did y'all both seek reparations?
He said, bro, "All right,
Huh?
let me get on here. let me." So we talked about some different things, but some of the things that
Mm.
people do, and we see. I don't know if we see it more with men or women, but they do the whole validation seeking, right? So they say that's a psychological pattern of basically relying on opinions, approvals, or reassurances of other people, basically to confirm your self worth. So you rely on that, that controls your decisions, your identity, and it basically involves looking outward for acceptance rather than generating your own self confidence from within. So your self esteem is low, right? Because you're looking for validation from other people. Now, we all know people that do that. Sometimes we do it ourselves. How can a person tell if they're seeking love versus seeking validation or even a distraction? As you did, you were seeking a distraction. So how can a person tell if they was actually seeking love or seeking validation? Let's start with the lady here.
Can you pass? I'm doing something.
Okay, okay. Uh, who's ready? Who wants to take this by the horns?
Marky just answered it, so he
Go ahead,
right.
Marky. How can you tell? How can a person tell if they're seeking love versus validation or distraction?
That's a good question. Well, I would say the obvious would be you jump right into something. If you jump right into something, you're seeking validation, distraction. You're trying to forget about or remove the pain over whatever it is, the messiness that happened. You're trying to clear your head, basically. Like I hear, and not just women. I'm not picking on women, but you watch these movies, and the woman husband breaks up with her or a boyfriend, and the girlfriends, hey, let's go out, let's go and have a one night stand, or just we're gonna go and meet somebody, get your mind off of it. And I see that in real life too. Yeah, go and talk to them. You just for the night, just meet them. Just go and have a good time, and get distraction. So when you doing something like that, and you know it's too soon, you have an internal clock, and you know what's too soon for anything. If it's too soon to eat, too soon to love, too soon to whatever. Um, if you're doing something too early, as soon as you jump out of something, you're not doing it for love. You're not looking for love at that point.
Yeah, I
I
put some
agree.
I put some thought in that, right? And I really think that you really don't know unless you start doing a self examination and say, well, you know what? I'm doing something that I normally wouldn't do. I'm acting a certain way that I know is not, that's out of character for me. Like, we're going to use Dimitri as an
Yeah.
example. So he broke up with the girl, and what he did was he went right into another relationship, and he said that was, he messed those up too because he was probably out of character. He was probably not doing the things that he normally would do, showing the things that he normally would show. And I think, going back to my Navy days, right? We've had many guys that got that Dear John letter, sitting on the mess decks or whatever, on the cafeteria, and the first thing that the buddies say, okay, man, you gotta get off of that, your that depression box or whatever, and get back out there and forget her. And they go out there and they do all these things to make sure that he forgets everything else. But that's something that typically he wouldn't do. And we see it. What they do, they go to the strip clubs, right? They and I guess that's back then, but now today, they would just jump on a dating site, and or when they meet girls, they go just for the physical aspect because they're scared to get into the emotional attachment. So I don't think you can tell unless you consciously self-examine yourself, because you may think, oh, I'm just looking for love because that one wasn't worth it, right? You might think that, or even believe it. You might be thinking that, you know, what would this person think of me if I did certain things, right? So I'm gonna go out there. I'm gonna date this person because I'm supposed to date this person, and yeah. So I think it happens. I think that's probably one of the hardest things to do. Um, but I think we all seen it or done it or heard about it. But getting back to one thing I wanted to go back to. I got a little statistic here, and we're talking about the when you're ready for getting into a relationship. Now, an estimated 53.8 million American adults, right? So that's about 18% of the adult population, right? They self-reported experiencing near daily symptoms of depression, anxiety, or both. Now we're talking about daily, right? Or near daily. In regards to trust issues, only 34% of Americans state most people can be trusted. That figure has declined over the last few decades, but overall, 34% is high. That said they can't that most people can't be trusted. So my question to you guys: is it responsible to date while struggling with anxiety, depression, or if you have trust issues? And those are huge things. What are your thoughts? We're gonna go with Paulie Love up there.
Listen, I think that's a I think that's a big no. I really do. If you struggling with anxiety, depression, and trust issues, and you engage in dating with someone, and especially if they don't know that particular history, that's a recipe for disaster. I mean, it can work two ways. Either you find someone that can help you through it, and but most people are not willing to. I mean, you're just dating. Most people are not willing to go ahead and work go through that journey with you. And so I think that's a no. I think if you date someone, or if you're in a dating situation and you suffer from, especially the trust issues,
Yep, I agree.
the trust issue, because that already puts the relationship or the dating situation at a negative from the door.
Right, right. And it's
Paul, I could tell you got trust issues. You keep looking over your shoulder.
No, no. I'm gonna tell you why. I'm gonna tell you why I look over my shoulder because I always do that. But where I live, I'm at a highway. I'm off of a highway, so I'm always hearing like motorcycles. I'm always
uh
hearing like noise and stuff like that.
Uh,
And then there's always a delivery person beeping their horn, so I'm thinking it might be my parcel or something like that. I'm in the Philippines. I'm rich out here, baby. I'm
oh,
rich.
I thought you was listening for mafia footsteps.
you know,
Oh no, no, no. As a matter of fact, when we have our podcast, she laughs. She sits next to us and she just laughing because she likes to hear
oh, okay.
she likes to hear the stories and stuff like that.
I guess in my head, I'm looking at her, off to the side with her with her taekwondo outfit on.
Oh no, no, it's funny because she even asked me the times we didn't have the podcast. She asked me, she was like, "How come you guys are not on the podcast?" I'm like, "Man, I don't know." She was like, "I enjoy listening to podcasts," and I'm like, "Yeah." So she sits here and listens and stuff like that.
Um, Invite her on. She's always welcome. Anybody, especially in topics like this, it's good to have couples there on there because then they could kind of bounce things on each other and cause problems and controversy. But all right,
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
so Marky, what do you think? Is it responsible to date while struggling with anxiety, depression, or trust issues, which I think is probably the worst out of all of them for a
No,
relationship?
I think it's a little irresponsible because you're putting that burden on someone else, or they're walking into it like Meat said. He walked into something with the girl, and it was the perfect situation for him. But what if he had walked into that with her, and he had all of this baggage, and she was the right one, and she was single? So yeah, I think that's a little irresponsible.
Yeah, and that can have very bad consequences. You know, Using that example, what if he had the anxiety, the depression, and obviously it could cause him to have trust issues later on. But breaking out of that relationship, feeling betrayed or whatever, that can cause somebody to even do some self harm. So
Yeah.
yeah,
It did. It honestly did cause me to have trust issues later on,
mm,
because now you got to understand. Now in my world, in my head, I'm thinking the next girl that I meet that's damn near perfect is going to do that shit, or it's a possibility. So it still kind of rings in there a
all
little
right.
bit.
Now again, just not trying to minimize it. That it was 2 weeks though, so you really going back to what we talked about in past episodes. When you first meet somebody, they're going to give you their best. I think that's what Marky
Meat,
said, right?
Meat, was that
Yeah.
after when you met her? Was that after a bad breakup or something? When you met her, or that was just
When I
something by
met when I
chance?
when I met the first girl
No,
or
no,
the
no. The
second.
one that was married. When you met her, was that after? Did you meet her after a bad breakup or something, or something
No,
went wrong? Oh, okay. All right. Now, I'm just trying to get
no,
it
I
clear.
didn't. No, when I met her, I was dating another girl a month prior to that, and then that didn't work out, of course. But you know, like I said, the girls that I was dealing with were not. All of them
They're
had
into
stuff wrong.
themselves.
Well, yeah, they had stuff wrong with them and stuff like that. And I ain't saying I'm perfect, but I'm saying like it was like bad. It's different, crazy stuff.
So they
This
they
girl was just like,
they were just in a bunch of
flat out.
toxic relationships.
Yeah, and kind of carried that
Who
along. Sound like, and they carried it along with them.
Mm,
you talk about the girls that I dealt
Yeah.
with before that one?
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So speaking of that, we talk about toxic relationships, and everybody know what a toxic relationship is. We want to ask you that too. But a toxic relationship is a dynamic between people that is consistently characterized by insecurity, boom, self self-centeredness, dominance, and control, which is usually that goes both ways, and it could drain your emotional energy. It can affect your self-esteem, And oftentimes it replaces mutual support with conflict and manipulation. And you'll hear a lot of people say the manipulation part when they're in a toxic relationship. Question to you guys: at what point does a pattern of toxic relationships become your responsibility? And that's and in a few ways. If you're one that's in a toxic relationship, one after the other, or you know another person has been in toxic relationships, one after the other, when do you see that as becoming your responsibility?
Like holding
Well,
ourselves
well,
accountable.
Absolutely.
Go ahead, Paul. You sound like you.
well. I'm speak from my experience that it's your responsibility when you keep finding yourself repeatedly in this cycle. Because what's the thing? What's the saying they say? Shame on you, fool me twice. It's true. So when you, if you keep finding these repeated cycles, then it's no longer about anybody else. Now it's solely on you. It's your responsibility. And then what happens is that if you don't heed that responsibility, then basically what you're saying is that whatever you get, you brought it upon yourself. That's.
I'm going to have to agree with you on that one because, you know, one, one time is okay, you can't plan for that sometimes. One time. But after the second time, and especially after the third time, the problem is you. You like picking people that have a certain thing about them, right? There's no other way. You know, it's your responsibility to pick the proper person for you or pick somebody that's at least fitting. And if you in toxic relationships over and over again, either you're the toxic person or causing the toxicity, or you just don't know how to make good choices. So yeah, one time you get a pass, two times there's a problem, three times it's all on you. That's just how I feel. So now,
I call it PPM, proper people management.
PPM, proper people
Because
management.
because you said either it's you or there's it. Okay, it's you that's the toxic one, or you are something in you is that draws those people to you. So
Exactly.
that's what it comes back to. You have to do self healing and self work because either to get away from that person, or you have to take away what's in you that draws those people to you.
Okay, so let me ask you, and anybody can answer this. Do you know your own flaws? That's one. This is a two-part question. Do you know your own flaws? And the second part, should people step out of dating if they can't identify their own flaws? Then we're gonna go
You
with,
said
yeah. Do you know
okay.
do you know your own flaws? And two, the second part is, um, should people step out of dating if they can't identify their own flaws? Because if you think you're flawless, you go through a relationship, any type of relationship, and you feel that you don't have any flaws, that's a problem.
I I know my own flaws. Definitely know my own flaws. Like I said, I'm not perfect. Um, well, any means necessary. Should you step out of dating if you don't recognize your own flaws? Heck yeah, because that relationship gonna go for a while, and by the time you discover your own flaws, it could cause turmoil,
I agree.
which could make the relationship even worse.
I agree. So even getting into the flaws thing, right? If you feel that you don't know your flaws or you don't recognize if you have any flaws, or you don't actually I guess, consciously say this is a flaw of mine, you'll never grow. You'll never improve. And then obviously, I think you're going to be the problem. Most of the time, not all the time, but most of the time. But let me quick question. Just give me a 10-second response on this one or less. What do you think your flaw is in a relationship? We're gonna start with Dimitri. 10 seconds. This is a hot seat question.
I'm too nice.
You too nice? Okay. Okay. All right, Paul.
I'm too patient.
You too what?
I'm too patient.
Too patient. Okay. Is there such thing as being too patient?
Well, I am a person who overlooks a lot of things.
Okay. You're too accepting, not so much patience. You accept
Yes,
too much.
too
Okay.
accepting.
Okay.
Yes.
Words. If you're here, I'm gonna hear about.
I'm here.
What's your flaw?
I got a lot of mouth.
Ding 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 ding.
He was
Hey, at
waiting for
least
that
I'm
one.
honest.
She's
At
honest.
least
Okay.
I'm honest.
Okay.
You're right, Miss Tasha. You're right.
A
Marky.
lot of mouth.
Marky, what's your flaw?
Um, the main one, I would say, just to piggyback off what you said real quick. I'm sorry, Brian. Um, I think you should date someone if you don't know all of your flaws. How else are you going to find them? Flaws become habits sometimes. And then to answer the question that you just asked now, my flaw would be when I know I'm right and when I feel that I'm right 100% and it makes sense to me logically, I don't want to hear you going against me the opposite. I don't want to hear the opposite of, you telling me different.
Okay.
If I feel in my heart and I feel like logically this makes sense, what you getting ready to tell me is there's no need for you to tell me that.
Okay. So it's funny you said that because I'm gonna say that is one of my flaws too. When I feel strongly about certain things and in my head is logical, it makes sense. I got all these things swirling around saying this is it. How could I get frustrated when I see somebody that don't get it or how I feel they don't get it. So, yeah. All right, so last one before for this part. For anybody here, everybody here is coupled up at least, for within the past year, so I guess. Can anybody be a good partner if they haven't learned how to be alone? Let me get that
I
to
don't think
Paul,
so.
because Paul, I don't think you've been single. You ain't been single.
It's second grade.
No, I think I was for a brief period, and sometimes you got to be alone, man. Sometimes you gotta find yourself, man. Sometimes you just gotta look in the mirror and because when you're in a partnership, you're doing a whole bunch of compromise, you're doing a whole bunch of partner stuff, and you don't know how to. Sometimes you just need to do be who you are, because when you're in a partnership, you morph in this more or less that other person. So yeah, so you can't be in a relationship until you know how to be by yourself.
I agree with that statement, and I'm gonna say that you knowing how or learning how to be alone means that you're not going to be clingy. You're not going to be like dependent on somebody where you can't function properly if one things don't go your way or you're left alone. You don't know how to survive. You don't know how. And I'm not talking about food and water and all types of stuff. You don't know how to survive emotionally. When you fall apart because that person's not there, that's a problem.
Right.
So, but yeah, it's been this. We're going to end part one of this. But I need the word of the day. Anybody want to give the word of the day?
Yeah, I got one.
Wait, hold on. You don't never ask me for the word of the day.
I said anyone.
Oh, you can go ahead and give it me. You go ahead.
Okay.
2 weeks is two
Um,
words
the,
though.
the word of the day. The word of the word of the day. Um, Jackson
T-shirts.
Dart.
Was
T-shirts.
it?
Jackson Dart.
Jackson Dart is the word of the day. That's 2 words, by the way.
Like 2 weeks. Yeah.
We're gonna we just take it as we're gonna throw darts at Jackson.
All right,
That's the
so
reason why he don't ever ask you.
Well, Tasha, how you just gonna blink in? You gonna pop up like the like the Tooth Fairy.
Mark,
That's why he doesn't never ask you.
Mark, can you give me one word? The word of the day. Can't make this complicated for people.
I think it goes with the conversation. I say discernment.
Discernment. Okay. So today's word of the day for this episode, part 1, is discernment. Okay. And spelling doesn't count for you guys, but if you give us the word of the day for each episode, email to unfiltered.cycle4081@gmail.com. You have the opportunity to win a prize. So with that said, we're gonna have part 2, and we're gonna talk about lifestyle instability, all under the same thing about whether somebody is ready for a relationship or not. We're going to talk about intentions and honesty, which is important. And we're going to talk about social media and external influence at part 2 of this episode. So you guys, hopefully we'll catch you for the next one. So stay tuned.
Thank y'all for tuning in to another episode of Unfiltered with Psycho 4081. Big respect to our guests for keeping it real, and love to every listener rocking with us week after week. This conversation ain't over yet. Stay locked in for the next episode coming soon. Until next time, keep it unfiltered with Psycho 4081.